What's going on, CALIVEGANs, and welcome into another episode of the CALIVEGAN podcast, the only podcast that focuses on helping vegan men to build muscle through calisthenics. So we talk here about calisthenics, about veganism, animal rights activism, and my journey with addiction, my journey with asthma, and now specifically today we're going to get into fasting. So recently I've been approaching a long fast. I mean, it ended today. I did a 54 hours fast, a little bit more than 2 days. I will talk about that a bit. But the most important part of this podcast, of this live, is that you decide what's happening. So as you're joining in, make sure that you're dropping some question, or otherwise there is nothing I'm gonna be able to talk about, and this is going to end, and everyone is going to be very sad, especially me, that I cannot create content for you. So don't just come here consuming my content. Be interactive, drop some questions as you're joining in. Even if you're leaving and you just joined for a couple of seconds, you can drop a question so you can help me move forward the podcast and perhaps come back and see the recording. All right. So usually we are doing this while I work out. Today we don't. It's more Q&A based. So what happened in my 54-hour fast? So when it comes to the reason why I fasted this time, it was because I started a journey of healing, mainly to improve and cure my asthma, right? I have been with asthma throughout my life. Some people in the comments on my page, they think asthma is something new for me, but it's not. I've been living with asthma since I was a kid, and it was pretty bad when I was a kid. But and as I grew up, as I did more sport, it improved. It improved in the sense that I didn't have asthma attacks, and I was doing good without medication. But that doesn't mean that my symptoms completely disappeared, because asthma symptoms never really disappeared. But for the most part, I managed to be without medications for a pretty long time. Hey guys, as you're joining in, drop some questions. I'm going to answer them as I go through my journey with asthma and fasting, right? I just want to touch on my asthma journey first, making sure there is some basis for it. But basically, I did pretty good. Let's say I stopped using inhaler and medications when I was 12 years old, something like that, 14 years old. Just felt like using the medication made me need it more, and I didn't want that. And so I stopped using it, and I noticed that I was doing good. Then when I went in London and considered that, I wasn't being the healthiest in London, I was in my unhealthiest period. I was taking drugs every weekend. I would smoke in and out. I was never really consistent with smoking cigarettes, but I was definitely smoking when I was going out to party. And I've been doing that for a good bunch of time, until one day, for some reason, my asthma started to bother me more. And this was a time which I was forced to go to a doctor because my symptoms were annoying me. I was coughing all the time, and I wasn't vegan yet there. All right, just for the people that some people in the comments are like, oh, you see, like veganism is destroying your health. Like, I always had asthma, right? So yeah, that was the first time. Actually, the medication helped me, but what really helped me was started running. So after that moment, I decided that I had to do something when it comes to cardio, because another reason why I think my asthma got back after I was a kid, because when I was younger, I was doing a lot of cardio sport. I was doing a lot of badminton, and for this reason, I said, okay, so maybe that's what's missing right now. I should go back to cardio. So I started running, and actually running worked pretty well. It helped me a lot, even though, especially with cold weather, my symptoms kind of got inflamed again. And usually the symptom is like this little thing that I got here, and there's a little bit of coughing, and so this was before, and then there was not a lot of medication after that moment. I took the medications again for like not very long time, just 6 months perhaps, no, not even, just a couple of months, and again, it never really disappeared. Like my asthma symptoms never really disappeared. They were just more manageable. For the most part, I kind of ignored them because I would prefer to hold on to my asthma symptoms rather than taking medications, until I got here in Malaga. So there's something here in Malaga that affects sensitive people, right? Feel free to drop questions, guys, as I talk. And yeah, like the first year, I think the first year wasn't too bad, but then the second summer here in Malaga, things started to get pretty annoying. Like there was in August 2 years ago, I was worried. Like I was going to run and I couldn't breathe very well, and we went kind of as an emergency to a pharmacy to buy the inhalers, even though I didn't go to a doctor, but I knew more or less what I needed. So I was like, okay, I need to do something here, because this is getting worse, and I'm getting kind of scared of what's happening. So this is what happened. I started taking medication, and I started going to the doctor, the lung doctor, to pneumology, and yeah, like they obviously made me a test. There is some obstruction in the exhalation of the breathing, which is basically what I had since now. Oh, another thing that probably worsened my asthma before Malaga was COVID. When I had COVID, I remember I could feel that it was really affecting my lungs, and I had COVID was pretty bad for me. All right, so that's it. So here we are now. The inhaler don't necessarily solve the situation. You guys know medicines, it's just like a tape on a hole where it's coming water, So at some point the tape is going to malfunction and the water is going to come out anyway. So they don't solve the problem. They're just a way to manage the symptoms, but for most people, they don't really like cure the asthma. It's just a way of managing the symptoms. And so I just didn't give up, right? I just didn't give up, and I started looking for other things that could relate and improve my asthma. One of the things was the breathing thing, to train your respiratory muscle. The O2 trainer is called, and I think that also helped me a bit, but it didn't solve the problem. Again, it made some improvement. I felt it, but I also felt that there was a cap. Like, okay, now I've been doing this for 2-3 months. I see the improvement, but the improvement is just not kind of moving forward. And I still do it though, because I know the importance of training. Like training, you keep training. It's not like you get results and then you stop training, because then it doesn't work. So I keep doing it, and I think that's beneficial. And then I started to learn more about, the mucus, and the fact that, a high-fat diet is not optimal for the human body, and it doesn't allow your body to function well. Even if it's good fat, if you eat too much fat, it's going to be in the way of the absorption of nutrient inside of arteries. Learn things that the digestion, the way food is digested, is it harder for the body or is it easier to the body to digest it? Is going to affect your health, all of these things. And so I started to approach a fruit-based diet. And then I heard the different stories that going full fruitarian can help this. And this is when I realized that all of these healing process and detoxifying, they all go into one direction, which is the fact that the body is able to detoxify and healing and cure some of this problem by itself. But you need to allow the body to focus its energy on this. And if you give your body the wrong food, it just cannot do it, because you keep putting toxic stuff in your body, the wrong stuff, things that are not digestible, and so is wasting energies on taking in this stuff and cannot focus its energy on cleaning and healing. All right, and that's why I decided to try and go and do the 100% fully fruitarian diet but in this process of learning, I realized that there is this other thing that is the optimal way to allow your body to focus on healing, which is fasting. All right, let me do a break and answer the question here. What are your favorite fruits for breaking a fast? I mean, you're asking that like I do fast since forever, but the last fast I did was 5 years ago, because I started to learn about fasting pretty long time ago, and I learned about the autophagy. So it's very interesting, all the science around fasting. So I don't have a favorite fruit. Like today, to break the fast, I had an apple, and it was so tasty. You don't want to have heavy metal right after a fast. Heavy meal right after a fast, right? Yeah, you don't, but it's all about how disciplined you are. I think the most important thing is going to be the actual fast and the healing. Of course, if you're going to have cooked food and a heavy meal, your digestive system is going to go a little crazy. But I think the most important thing is actually doing the fast. But yeah, after the fast, you definitely want to eat fruit. If you do 1 day fast, 2 days fast, it's not a big deal. But if you do a longer fast, by the way, guys, I'm learning from one of the pioneers, I'm learning from a book written from one of the pioneers of fasting, which is Fasting Can Save Your Life, from Herbert Sheldon. Okay, and so it definitely also says this, that if you're doing a long fast, like 5 days, 7 days, that's it's going to be a very bad idea if you go into a heavy meal directly. You want to start with some apples, some oranges, and just a little bit, and you should be easing in your kind of normal diet in a time frame of like 3 to 5 days. But by the way, this is also important, and this is something that everyone mentions, like not only Sheldon in its fasting book, but also, what's the name of the guy of the 80-10-10 book, the fruitarian guy? Well, the author of the 80-10-10 book, which is one of the pioneers of the fruitarian diet. And he also, makes a point that, if you want to be healthy, it's not about only a healing process and detoxifying process that you do a fast or you do fruit juice and you do a period on fruit. That's going to help you, of course, and that's good. But in the long term, if you don't change your habits, like let's say you're an alcoholic, you do a fast to solve your problem, you actually heal and then you go back to alcohol every day, you're going to go back to point zero as well. And like talking about this, I definitely want to add an important thing, which is action over perfection and progress over time is much more important than doing things perfectly and doing things super strict. Because it's just you. This is just your own journey. You do not have any responsibility for anyone else when you're trying to do these things to improve your health. This is you and you, okay? Because I think many times we put on ourselves unrealistic and unnecessary rules that are way too strict, and we don't remember that, you know, it's okay to be imperfect and try again. You know, just like my 12 days that I've done on fruit, right? I cheated my last week. No, I wanted to do 4 weeks actually, but then I stopped because I wanted to do a fast. Okay, so it's okay to change your mind. The week before, I included some fatty food again because I didn't really have anything else to eat, so I ate that, and then I went back to my fruit-based diet. Okay, so this is the most important thing. If you want to improve your health over time, there's going to be some habits that you need to include, right? It can be something that is kind of at the end of the spectrum of wanting to be the healthiest version of your life, which might be eating a 100% fruit-based diet, or you're still working on stop drinking alcohol every single day. In any of this process, you don't have to go boom. It's either 0 or nothing. No, you start implementing those new habits, and sometimes you fall back and you have your drink, and over time you drink less alcohol, and over time you start eliminating the processed food. Or you can also go 0, okay, and say, okay, no, I want to stop with all the unhealthy food. I want to go fully in on a fruit-based diet, and you change everything altogether. Because again, like some people say that you need to do some kind of transition, but when you're going from unhealthy to healthy, for the most part, you do not need to go do transition. Like, start doing healthy choices 100% of the time. It's not dangerous. It can only do good to you. But even though you do this drastic switch, right, and you want to go all in, it's okay if you fail. Actually, you should be allowing yourself to fail if the craving for whatever is your unhealthy choice is very strong, because otherwise you're probably going to have a kind of a pushback that is even stronger if you're putting too strict rules on yourself. It's just part of the process for most people. You just need to listen to your body and allow the decisions to flow as well. Just like I did with the fast, right? I wanted to do a 7 days fast, but I think there was few things that I did wrong. One thing is that, on Saturday, Friday I went to party, took drugs, and Saturday did the same. So I'm coming down from that too, and it added up to the tiredness of the fasting. On Saturday I had a lot of processed food, so perhaps my body was also crashing on the sugar. I was craving for sugar, and also another thing I think is good. I think it's good when you do a fast to stop drinking coffee too. 1 week before, I think it should be. On the other side, maybe my body was just shocked from a long fast that I haven't been done in a very, very long time. Well, two months ago, actually, I did the 24-hour fast. But however, at the end of the day, fasting is supposed to be a resting time. Even though I remember when I did a 3 days fast for the I was doing different fasts. They were close to each other, but they were short. And when I did my first 3 days fast, it didn't feel that bad. It didn't feel that bad at all. Actually, I remember, well, the second day did feel bad, but the third day felt good. I feel energized. I was working. I even did a workout in that third day. And I was actually amazed that I didn't feel like strong and ready to do anything, but I feel very relaxed and like in Zen mode. And I could walk around. I went to work and went back home. But this time it didn't happen. Third day I was still feeling dizzy, nausea, and I realized that I didn't want to affect my working schedule that much at this time. So I decided to stop. Has it improved my asthma? Honestly, I think so. But again, I'm not going to give you a strict answer now, because in the long term it's more important. So we will actually be giving an answer on the fasting and the fruit-based diet gave benefits for my asthma. We're going to answer this, definitely the final answer is going to be on the next July, which is when I usually do my respiratory tests. But we also do the respiratory test in December, so we'll see. But I've never done one in December, so I cannot compare. Because the important thing of my asthmatic symptoms is the weather. Like July and August is when I really feel the restriction. Is getting an inhaler valuable? Does it increase your stamina enough to justify getting one, or do you grow a resistance to it so it becomes ineffective? I think you're asking about the respiratory trainer, not the inhaler, right? Do you grow a resistance? So you get better by training it. Actually, there are different kind of resistance, so you can make it harder and harder over time. But even if you get to a plateau, is still good, because you still have improved lung capacity. And just like any kind of training, if you stop, then you lose that level. So it's just 5 minutes per day, and I think it's valuable to do in the morning to have better, more efficient lungs. If fast symptoms are too strong, you can drink lemon honey water. Okay, so this is this just show that so many people eat plants and eat fruit just because of health and because it is a diet, and then they're not vegan, right? Matranieri, why would you suggest to exploit bees to feel better doing a fast? Please stop doing that, and please consider the fact that eating a plant-based diet is it can be about other reasons, but not exploiting animals should be something to truly consider when you talk, when you give suggestion, and within your action, right? As a human that doesn't want to be a piece of shit that exploit animals. So now we are kind of going off topic, but it's a fair. What do you think about creatine? Creatine. So, all right. So here's a few things. I think it's better to eliminate processed food, chemicals, as much as possible from your diet. Processed food, chemicals, supplements, anything that is not whole. It's not whole food. I think it's better to just eliminate it, right? So when it comes to creatine, I have tried it. I never took it for consistently for a long period of times. When I was taking creatine, I was a little bit heavier for sure, like 1 to 2 kilograms heavier. I looked a little bit more puff. But when it comes to the strength, I think I made the same strength progression, like with and without creatine. That's in my opinion. It didn't make a huge difference. It just made me a little bit. Perhaps there was a little different, but for me the main point was that when I did stop taking creatine, I kept making results. So I don't see the point of adding an unnecessary supplement inside of in my diet, because again, I want my diet to be as much as possible made of whole food, as much as possible. You know, you don't have to be perfect, as we said before, but the aim should be that. And creatine is just some stuff made in a lab, and I rather avoid it. And also, even though it is a safe supplement, it's not like completely safe. There are some possible negative effects. They're just very low, but some people do experience some negative effects with creatine. All right, so that's always the risk when you go on whatever kind of, you know, chemicals and lab-made things. They're never like 100% working without negative effects, because they're just, it's not like something that our body is naturally made to ingest. And for this reason, I think it's better to always avoid. So what I've learned about the fasting is that obviously one of the things that I was thinking as I was reading the book Fasting Can Save Your Life from Herbert Shelton is that it's true that, I mean, fasting can be hard and it requires discipline, especially the first days, even though it does get better. Like as you approach the third, the fourth day, your body gets used to survive on the reserves and the deposit of energy that it has. But if I would be obese or very overweight and I was serious about losing weight and fat, I would just stop eating, because the rate at which you lose fat or weight is super fast. Okay, and some people will tell you, oh yeah, but all the weight is like glycogen and water. Yes, but until a certain point, right? It's not going to be just water and glycogen. You are depleting your body from all the calories that it usually needs for the day. Is going to start burning fat like crazy, and I have experienced it myself in these 54 hours. I've lost about 3.5 kilograms, 4 kilograms, and I was noticing in the mirror that my abs were like shredded, more and more shredded day after day. You know, like I was visibly seeing the lower abs coming out day after day. Like it was massive change in only 3 days. Now I have veins on my lower abs. Perhaps not now, but in the morning, yes. You know, in the morning you are. Yeah, let's see. Let's do a quick. See, I start to see veins on my lower abs, and they weren't there before the fast. And so I think fast should, I'm going to start experimenting with fasting to be implemented, especially when it comes to doing a deficit, because you still you still want to fast for health benefits, for sure, if you want to optimize your health. But also, if you implement fast into your week and you're trying to lose fat and you're doing a caloric deficit, it's going to massively speed up the fat loss process. The only thing that you need to be careful on is that if the goal is also building strength and muscle, right? As I said before, if I would be like obese or super overweight and I want to lose fat, like just fast, don't think about training and building muscle. It's going to be faster to just thinking about losing all the fat and the weight. But if you're someone that, it wants to lose 10% body fat, 15% body fat or something like that, you'll probably also be better off building muscles in the process. So to do that, you cannot fast during the week, because then you cannot train. So you need to implement fasting so it doesn't affect your energy and you have time to replenish your body to get stronger. And I think what I want to experiment with doing my last training in the morning, like strength training Friday morning, and then having breakfast before that, and then stop eating and eating again on a Sunday. But now that I think about it, if I do that, how can I run? Can I run? Maybe my body gets used to it, and I can also run while fasted. We'll see. This week definitely didn't feel like it, and the other way I could do it is just run Saturday morning and then fast until Sunday evening, so I can eat, so I have energy for the workout on Monday. But again, there has to be experiments. Maybe in the countryside it gets better, breathes so much better in the mountains. I'm thinking about it. So Malaga is literally my dream city. The sea, the weather is good, like Spanish people, and I'm getting also going with the animal rights activism here every Saturday. So I like that. But at the end of the day, because again, my asthma got worse when I started to live here. So if it's truly a city problem and I cannot really solve my problems with asthma through a better diet and fasting now, if there's not going to be improvement, then it's a problem. And I think it doesn't make sense to live here. It would be better to live in a place where the air is cleaner. Because I did check the cleanness of the air on a website, and it seems like Malaga doesn't really have the cleanest air. One herb I suggest to take is Myrlin for the lungs and also nettle seed for the kidneys. Personally, I'm not a big believer of single herb seeds and food benefits. But anyway, I could try one of those things too. But many people have suggested many little things that I could do, and different herbs, and do this and do that, and take this tea, but and do this breathing thing, But and I thank you for giving the suggestion. But the reason I don't do it is just because, first of all, I think just fasting is just superior. And the expert behind fasting, they will tell you that, yeah, fasting is just the way to go. You don't really need anything else. However, who knows? Those things could also work. For some people, perhaps work because they have probably slightly less problematic symptoms, and so just making this change will help them. But the other reason why I don't take all these different advices from people, whether they work or not, whether they're valuable or not, but it's because I want to do things like kind of one at a time. So I know what's actually working. So I don't just mess around. And that's why I'm going to take my time in also making a statement saying that my asthma symptoms have actually improved, because they have improved. Last year at the same time, I was taking my inhaler before working out. Right? I'm not doing it now and feel pretty good. So there is a definite improvement. And I feel like the wheezing is less too. But I should try running as well. But anyway, I'm not going to base myself on these two things. I want to base myself on a 12 months journey in which I'm doing fruit-based diet, in which I'm doing multiple fastings. And then on July, I will make my respiratory test and see if there is a improvement that is not only based on feelings, but is also based on the respiratory test. Doug Graham, yeah, Doug Graham is the guy, the author of the 80-10-10 book. I really suggest you, if you're still skeptical about these fruit-based diet and why you need to eat low fat, and what about the ketogenic diet, and you're still all over the place, I suggest you read the 80-10-10 book from Doug Graham. Any take of animal rights and socialism? I don't know. Socialism, no idea. I don't understand these words kind of fully. But I think those are human created concepts. And in my experience, and that's also the advice of the best animal rights out there, including Gary Yourofsky, including my mentor Paul Bashir, and Asal Malamandari, the founders of Anonymous for the Voiceless. It's not effective to be intersectional, to put humans created concept within the animal rights conversation, because then you're talking about humans, and if you're talking about humans, you are losing the focus on animals, right? When you talk about humans, you're saying, okay, but don't you see that this thing is happening to humans and is similar to what happens to animals? So you're saying that in order to care about animals, you need to talk about humans first. And that's ineffective. Sometimes, of course, you will make comparison, that's okay. But intersecting, crossing political human issues with animal rights, it doesn't work. Not good. Please comment on getting enough protein to build muscle. Did you already have a lot of muscle when you went vegan, or did you actually build your strength and size from being vegan? All right. Please comment on getting enough protein to build muscle. I do not care anymore about protein. Like it's not a worry for me anymore. I don't give a shit. Let's be honest. And I think what you should be doing is just get 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight as a goal, because this is going to allow you to free your mind from the protein obsession. It's going to allow you to not having processed vegan food necessarily just because you want to increase your protein, eating seitan just because you want to increase your protein, eating protein shake, drinking protein shakes just because you want to increase your protein, and you do all of these less healthy choices just because you want to increase your protein. All right. Instead, if you keep your protein target low, it's going to allow you to free yourself from that concept and implement more of the healthy stuff inside of your diet. More fruit. That's it. That's mainly the only thing you want to eat more of. More fruit and rest, and less of the rest. Did you already have a lot of muscle when you went vegan? I built muscle before going vegan. However, just before being vegan, I had a period of inconsistency, and I made a lot of progress by being vegan, and I keep making progress, you know. But if you're kind of skeptical about this, you can just go on my account and check my clients' testimonial. They were all already vegan, and they all built muscle being vegan, right, from scratch. And there is a lot of, I think there is a guy, yeah, Luca Fit Health. Luca Fit Health he's got great genetics. The guy is super clean and he moves a lot, so it's super shredded as well. And he's got very impressive physique, and he started training as a vegan, right? So he's a very good example of what's possible. I shouldn't even like. It's not about here's the thing, you know, right? Here's the thing. I just mentioned why you shouldn't be worried about, you know, protein, and just focus on eating healthy and making food choices based on health. And that's important because what builds muscles is training, not food. It's not food. Like, like getting stronger is what's going to stimulate muscle to grow. And when I say this, there's a lot of contradiction. People are super skeptical, and they come up with many different things like, oh, but so why are climbers super strong, but they're not that big? First of all, climbers are muscular. They have muscle. I will say that, but not that many muscle, but they're still strong. Well, that's genetics. It's just genetics. It's simple as that. The same person with different genetics will do the same training, will build more muscle, and wouldn't be as good as a climber, just because his relative strength is not good. It's heavier. He's got a genetic to build more muscle. For the same reason why gymnasts are all small, right? And you will see that some gymnasts are more muscular than others. However, their strength level is kind of the same. So genetics is a factor that many don't consider when they have this conversation, and just talk about protein training, how you train, but and you cannot get stronger without building muscle, and you cannot build muscle without getting stronger. And some people will come with the saying things that, oh yeah, but you can train in a way that you just increase strength, but you don't build muscle. And that's true, because strength is more about actually teaching your body to optimize the use of the muscle fibers that it has. That's cool. But what happens once everything is optimized? How do you move forward? More muscles. And so you cannot really get stronger without building muscle, right? And also it comes, a lot comes with genetics as well. So why did you repeat the same question? What's the best way of getting protein as a vegetarian? So if you're a vegetarian, you are not respecting animals. You are seeing them as a resource to get your protein. When you don't need, you can get protein from plants. So if you respect animals, do not live in hypocrisy, because when you pay for eggs and dairy, you pay for animals to be exploited, tortured, and they will take the babies away, you know, especially that happens all over the farming industry, but especially in the milk industry. A cow needs to be pregnant, and every 9 months they will take the baby away, send the male to slaughterhouse, enslave the female. So don't get protein as a vegetarian, but rather go vegan, embrace a plant-based diet, and get protein from plants. And as I mentioned, do not worry too much about protein, not big deal. Did you start big and fit and then went to vegan, or did you build muscle as a vegan from the ground up? I think you keep asking the same question, brother. All right. Do we have more questions? Same questions. I guess you just didn't have patience. Did you start as a vegan? Again, same question. Eat clean, balance large meals, and work out consistently. It's going to come as well. Actually, no, I don't agree with that. But first of all, I mean, eat clean for sure, but I would say eat healthy, right? Eat whole food. That's a better way to say it. Large meals, I think that's relative. Balanced, I think balanced can be very confusing, because when it comes to balanced, some people would say that oil is part of a balanced diet, but if you use oil, you are making a less healthy choice. You should eat the olive directly, right? Seed oil. You should eat the seeds directly. That's a better approach to diet. Instead of saying eat a balanced diet, that's very confusing. Just eat as much whole plant food as possible for your diet. Anything else, you need to make a commitment that you recognize that you're not making that choice for health. It's for another reason. If you're eating olive oil, it's not because of the healthy fats. You're using the olive oil because you like the taste, because it helps you cook, whatever, you'll be better off. You're not making that choice for health, and it's definitely not a good, healthy choice. Work out consistently. I love that, consistently, but I think that many people don't understand that just working out consistently is not enough. You need to have a method. You need to know how progressive overload. You need to know how to prioritize technique. You need to know how to give muscle the right amount of rest. You need to know how to organize volume for each workout, so you don't overtrain, so you don't over fatigue your muscle, and don't get injured. Because if you're just pushing, doing a lot of volume, you end up getting injured. So let me give you a straightforward approach to this. Like, you want to do the way I approach training. So 10 sets per week, they are enough. I like to do a little bit more volume because I base my training on a push-pull legs and upper body training, which allow for multiple days of rest, so allows for more volume. And honestly, I don't like to do like 5 sets in a workout. Like, what's that? Is that even a workout? I personally don't have experience with that little volume. So 10 to 15 sets per workout is where you want to go. And you can also kind of float and move around between the two numbers depending on how you're progressing over time. The important thing is that you're making progress within the overall volume. So yeah, 10, 15 sets per muscle group, per workout, if we are doing the push-pull legs. And then you want, for calisthenics, you want 3 exercises. Your first exercise is going to be more strength related, 3 to 5 repetitions. Second exercise, we're going to get closer to hypertrophy, the hypertrophy range, which, by the way, since I use the word hypertrophy, everything is hypertrophy, but we have this kind of name to the different ranges. And you do maybe 5 to 8 reps, and you can do like 3 to 5 sets for all of these exercises. And then you have your last exercise in which you're going to try and focus on more volume, lower intensity, and finish the muscle and get a good pump for the end of the workout. And you do again like 3 to 5 sets, and you can do 8 up to 15 repetitions, even 20 repetitions, right? This is when you do, for example, your push-ups at the end of your workout, and do like 4 or 5 sets and almost getting 100 reps. And by the way, you cannot do this if you have, for example, a full body workout 3 times per week, because you're not going to recover. So that's why I really like the push-pull legs, because it allows for enough time to rest. I hope that was helpful, and if you're a vegan man who is looking to build muscle with calisthenics, just drop me a DM saying CALIVEGAN. My CALIVEGAN coaching program already helped almost 300 vegan men get unstuck. First of all, from the thought that protein is the thing that you have to focus on when it comes to building muscle. And then from the overwhelmed, coming from all of the information online that you don't really know how you should work out. Is it the failure? Is it the slow negative? Is it the frequency? All right. I'm going to tell you exactly what worked for them. You apply it, you start getting results, and you'll see that once you have clarity, it's easier to be motivated and create discipline. If you need help to build muscle as a vegan, you want to do it with calisthenics, drop me a DM saying CALIVEGAN. Let's continue. Fact, the fruit. Oh shit, I lost it. I lost the plot. Again. Okay, got it back. I found what food make you young. Fasting makes you young. Fruit as well. I think, if you're consistent with your fruit diet for a long period of time, you end up healing, you end up detoxifying. But for me, doesn't really, I don't find it sustainable as of right now to be 100% on fruit. It's a lot of fruit that you need to have in the house. You need to go often to the supermarket. So for now, it doesn't work for me. Now I'm going to change it back to a mix of fruit and cooked food. I'm going to try to eat only fruit until the evening. And in the evening, I'm going to be eating potatoes. So I'm also eliminating grains and legumes for the most part. Maybe sometime I'll eat tofu because it tastes good with the soup. But I want to eliminate legumes and grains because they are harder to digest. And I also heard one time, and I'm going to listen to it again, the protocol of medical medium when it comes to asthma, and it suggests to eat potatoes instead of grains and legumes. Hey, I have a vegan child. Protein in children is mentioned everywhere. Protein in general is mentioned everywhere. It's about you. You want to buy in. I cannot really do nothing because I don't have I don't feel I have that persuasive kind of way of telling you things and move you away from protein if you don't have if you don't have already an open-minded to understand that that's just marketing, right? In my opinion, protein doesn't have to be a focus. For me, it's very simple. So for me, it's super simple. For some reason, like we think of human biology as it is completely out of what the animal kingdom do. But we are primates at the end of the day. And primates eat mainly fruit. When we go look at the biology of humans, they are the most similar to primate. So, and primate eats mostly fruit. And that's the best diet for children, the best diet for humans, any human. Yeah. Howsome, you are raising a vegan family. Protein is not that important. Minerals and gut health is. I have 6-year-old vegan and 5 months old. Glad to hear there is vegan families out there. How do you feel about calisthenics? What do you mean? How do I feel about calisthenics? Calisthenics is my thing. Is what I focus on. With my clients. For me, I think calisthenics, when it comes to upper body strength, is elite. When it comes to strength, and I mean that because you often see calisthenics guy like approaching like weight training exercises and doing very, very good. The other way around doesn't happen. Usually bodybuilders and people that focus on weights, they will struggle with bodyweight exercises. They still have the strength and they will catch up with the bodyweight exercises, right? The concept that like bodybuilders are not strong, that's just also a stupid concept. They have the strength. The reason why they struggle with bodyweight exercises is just because it doesn't transfer well, but they will get strong very fast once they approach calisthenics. However, calisthenics guys will hit the weights and will smash any upper body exercise. And you know, like you can do it at home. You can do it at home, and I think for most people that's the best way to go. You just lose time to go to the gym, and you lose at least 20 minutes. Doesn't matter how close the gym is to you. So training at home is the best for individuals that want to train properly, because if you want to gain strength and muscle, I don't believe like in a 30 minutes workout, you know, you're probably skipping warm up, you're skipping mobility, you're not doing enough volume. Over time, you will hit a plateau. So you need 45, 1 hour workout in order to be effective, to build strength and muscle. And training at home helps you, you know, implement that time better inside of your routine. And then it's just less boring, right? You're using your body weight. It's not just about doing the same movement and adding weight. Is about a journey that you go from doing pull-ups, and then you do pull-ups with a little jump, and then you start doing high pull-ups, and then at some point you start doing muscle-ups, and you start doing things that you only dreamed to be doing. So it's much more exciting than weights, because when you train weight training, yes, it's very exciting to lift heavy as well. But I don't know, it's just like, it feels like you're stuck for the most part when it comes to weights. And then there's I don't know, it just feels better to progress with calisthenics. But for example, on the other side, I do legs at the gym because calisthenics is not very, very effective. If you're a beginner, you can do a lot with calisthenics, like developing the strength for a pistol squat is hard work. But once you're there, it's very difficult to build an effective calisthenics leg workout. It's not practical. It's possible, but not really practical. What's the number one fasting book that you would recommend a beginner to learn about fasting once a week, intermittent? I am, so the book that I'm not an expert on fasting, guys. I'm far from being an expert on fasting. But the book that I'm reading is not much about, it doesn't talk a lot about intermittent fasting, I think. I think it's kind of against it because it talks about fasting more as a way of truly healing and, actually curing some diseases and chronic diseases. And so the concept of the book is actually doing very long fast until your body is completely healed. And this book is called Fasting Can Save Your Life from Herbert Shelton. Your girlfriend has a nice physique. She's not my girlfriend anymore. Is she training with you calisthenics? And is she eating mostly fruit? Yes, she eats mostly fruit. And yes, she does a full body workout calisthenics training 3 times per week. Potatoes are also great for brain health. I'm getting dry. Sorry guys, I rather don't add random people to the call. And it's fun with a partner or your kids. I personally prefer to train by myself. I don't like to train with other people because I can train with other people if they know what they are doing, or if it's once in a while, and I can follow them, because I don't do I don't do coaching in person. So, but I prefer to train by myself because even if I'm training with someone who is experienced, usually the workout plan would be different. I would definitely want to kind of learn different things from someone else that is experienced, that for sure. But I really like follow my workout plan because it's working. I'm making progress. I don't want other people to get in the way. So if I work with someone, it's okay. But everyone kind of does its own thing, and we can chat while we do that. When you start losing muscle with fasting, does your body first burn fat? That's a very a question I don't necessarily have a specific answer to, but just to think of it that way, your muscle mass will be related to your strength. So if you manage to fast in a way that it doesn't affect your strength, then you're good to go. So for example, like let's say you lose muscle because you've done 1 week of fasting, but who cares? You're going to gain it back once you are back to training. So focus on that first. And also if you're going to do a long fast, for example, because you want to cure a chronic disease, again, don't focus on muscle. You're trying to cure and get healthier, like what's more important. Because this is the way I saw this week. I interrupted my training to do the fast because I think that my asthma is more important than, not skipping one week of training, right? And so this is what I did. But it takes a long time before you actually start losing muscle. Because yes, as you fast, your body will prioritize using stored fat. It doesn't go into the muscle to take energies, because that's the most difficult energy to create from protein. It goes first to the fat. You only work out 3 days a week. I do 4 strength training. I do 2 running and 2 kickboxing. 3 runnings and 2 kickboxing. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you got some knowledge out of this. Let me know in the comments what you like the most. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like. If you're on Instagram, leave a comment as well. Let me know what part you liked of the podcast in the comment. And if you're a vegan man who wants to help build muscle with calisthenics, drop me a DM saying CALIVEGAN, and we'll talk about your fitness goals. And we have the CALIVEGAN sign too. Right? From now on, if you go around and you're CALIVEGAN supporter, that's the sign. C and the V.